Okay, let's talk about this. Everyone is buzzing about the big, flashy AI chatbots, right? But there's this tool from Google that's kind of been flying under the radar, and honestly, it might just be one of the most practical and powerful AI tools out there today. It's called NotebookLM.
And yeah, that quote just hits the nail on the head. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly why you need to be paying attention to NotebookLM, from what makes it tick to some, frankly, insane tips for power users.
So here's the plan. We'll start with what actually makes it different. Then we'll see how it works as your personal research sidekick and an amazing study partner. From there, we'll jump into its wild content creation features, I'll share some pro tips, and we'll wrap it all up with why this whole thing is such a big deal for the future of AI.
Right. First things first. What even is NotebookLM? Well, at its core, it's a completely different breed of AI assistant.
This right here, is the most important thing to understand. You see, most AI chatbots are trained on the whole wild, messy internet. NotebookLM is different. It's grounded, which is a fancy way of saying it only knows what you tell it. Its entire world is the documents you provide. This means it isn't just guessing, it's reasoning based on your specific info. And the result? Way fewer errors or hallucinations. And it gives you personalized answers that you can actually trust because it shows you its work.
The absolute best way to think about it is this. Imagine you have a research assistant who has a perfect, flawless memory of every single page of every document you've ever handed them. Just the other day, I was using it with my son to learn about Saturn. We just uploaded a few articles, and for the next hour, we were just asking it questions. And every single time, it gave us a perfect answer, all backed up by the sources we just gave it. It's that personal.
Okay, so how does this work in practice? How do you actually use it as a research assistant? Let's break down how you build your own knowledge base.
The whole process is just brilliantly simple. First, you add your sources. That's step one. Then, you just start chatting with it, ask it questions, just like any other chatbot. But the magic really happens in step 3. The answers you get are directly linked back to your own stuff.
And when we say sources, it's incredibly flexible. You can upload PDFs, Google Docs, paste in links from websites, even links to YouTube videos. It can even process the transcripts from audio files. Basically, if you want it to be part of your knowledge base, you can probably add it.
And we are not talking about small-time projects here. A single notebook can handle up to 50 sources, and each of those sources can be up to 500,000 words long. That adds up to a potential knowledge base of, wait for it, 25 million words. That is a massive amount of information to have right at your fingertips. Now this little feature right here, this changes everything. You see that little number 1 in brackets next to the answer? That's your proof. That's your citation. When you click on it, NotebookLM shows you the exact passage from the exact document where it found that information. This is how you know you can trust it. No more AI black boxes.
All right, so it's a great researcher, but let's see how this transforms into an unbelievable tool for students, or really, anyone trying to learn something new. This is where it goes from being just a research assistant to being a real study partner.
Just imagine this for a second. You upload all of your class notes, the chapters from your textbook, and a few relevant articles. Then, with a single click, NotebookLM can take all of that raw info and spin it into a whole suite of custom-made learning materials.
For example, it can instantly generate flashcards on all the key terms from your documents. So here, you feed it a bunch of dense articles on quantum computing and, bam, it spits out a perfect set of study cards for core concepts like qubit and superposition.
But it goes so far beyond that. I mean, look at this. It can create a full-blown study guide, complete with quizzes and answer keys, timelines, essay prompts. It'll even generate an interactive mind map to help you see how all the ideas connect. It's seriously like having a personal tutor who builds study guides just for you.
Okay, this next part is where things get, well, honestly, a little mind-blowing. NotebookLM isn't just for learning and research. It's a full-on content studio that can turn your raw information into polished, ready-to-go media.
So, think about it. You've done all the hard work. You've gathered all the sources. But what if that research could then write, speak, and even present itself for you?
This is the audio overview feature, and it doesn't just give you a summary. No, it generates an entire podcast with 2 AI hosts discussing your documents. But here's the really wild part. You can interrupt them at any time to ask a follow-up question, and they will answer you in real time. It's a custom interactive podcast about your research. It's insane.
And it doesn't even stop with audio.
The new video overview feature creates a whole slideshow-style explainer video with narration and visuals pulled from your sources. And you can even pick the vibe, from a classic whiteboard style to something way more creative like papercraft or even anime.
All right, so you've seen the main features. Now let's get into the fun stuff. Let me show you a couple of my favorite power user hacks that really unlock what this tool can do. This one is just incredible. You can basically clone an entire YouTube channel. You just use a simple browser extension to copy the URLs of every single video on a channel. Paste that whole list into NotebookLM, and in a few minutes, you have a fully interactive database of that channel's entire brain. You can then chat with it, ask for summaries, or even get video ideas in that creator's specific style.
And here's a super quick and simple one for you. If you ever hit a paywall when you're trying to add a link, no problem. Just open the article, copy all the text, and paste it directly into NotebookLM as a new text source. It's an easy little workaround that keeps your research moving.
So, let's zoom out. When you pull all of this together, what does a tool like NotebookLM really mean for the future? Why does any of this matter?
Let's just boil it down to 3 key things. First, grounded AI is reliable AI. You get trustworthy answers with proof. That is a massive game changer. Second, this thing really can become your second brain. One single place to hold and chat with everything you're working on. And finally, it's an instant content engine, taking you from raw notes to polished media with just a click.
And all of that leaves us with one last big thought. You know, we're starting to move away from a world where we ask AI about everything, and we're entering a world where we ask AI to become an expert on our stuff, on the specific information that matters to us. So the real question is, how is that going to change the way we learn, the way we create, and maybe even the way we think? It's a pretty exciting question to think about.